change. Yes, I want to make a change.
Right, it's a blazing hot day in the south of England, and we're joined by the Wideboys. How's it going, guys?
Very well.
Superb, superb.
Nice to see you both instead of just the one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the first track I remember from you guys was the one on Dubs for Clubs, the Once Was Nice remix with a sax in.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there was much more before that. Tell us how you got into producing and how you met.
Well, Ed was running a record shop locally, and I was running the studio locally, and we were destined to meet, and he gave me a call one day, and we realised that we both liked the same thing, and this was really before the garage industry really blew up. It was before two-step or anything like that, and I was into the old Masters at Work and Todd Terry type of garage, those types of beats and that, and so really Ed gave me a call one day, and I said, well, come in the studio, and we initially wrote a house tune, which is, I think, that's how Artful Dodger got together, almost exactly the same story. They wrote a house tune, and then which got released, but then we decided we liked the garage thing, and then we hit the ground running because we were already kind of doing it before the garage thing really kicked off. Yeah. So we've got and that's where Stand and Deliver came from, which was really like our first single, really.
So, I mean, the first Wideboys anthem was Stand and Deliver on Social Circles. Did you think that tune would become as big as it did? And what made you decide not to launch your label Garage Jam then and put it on Social Circles?
Basically, we've been working with Colin Aubrey from Union Jack Records for a long time.
That's right.
And like we were starting to get remixes, and he was putting a lot of work our way. And basically, we weren't really committed to starting a label at that time, just because we were quite bubbling, finding our feet, and basically we just sent off a few tapes and CDs, and Jason picked up on it, and it went from there. Really. But we'd obviously known and liked him from the sort of Top Buzz days anyway. It was there was, you know, it gelled quite well.
Social Circles at the time was one of the biggest labels, wasn't it?
Yeah, Social Circles was coming through, you know, with Zed Bias and stuff like that, and previous to that they'd had some really good releases. So
you saw it as kind of a break to get on the label, first get under your belt sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's good to get yourself established on many labels to start with. I don't think we're in a position to start our own label. You've got a bit of a name for yourself, and we were just finding our feet in terms of production as well. We were still a little bit wet behind the ears, do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's good, and it done us well to be on Social Circles. It did us really well, and then Jimmy picked up on us from Public Demand as well, and that really...
Yeah, because I was going to say, it was around that time when you guys started to get a lot of remix work. I mean, you remixed practically everything on Public Demand. As well, you had, you know, you've done the Shanks and Bigfoot, you've done some stuff, a few things for Warner's. You've done quite a lot of stuff around that. I mean, what was your... It must have been a nice period.
Yeah, no.
Fantastic.
It was made that. I mean, basically, we were getting so many remixes in. We were actually able to pick and choose the ones we actually liked musically to work with, which was a blinding position to be in. So, I mean, we did turn down a lot of work at the time just because of time, and we weren't actually feeling the music.
Do you regret that now?
No. That's the thing we've always stuck to. If we're not feeling something, then we're not feeling it. We don't try and force something that we can't work with.
Don't take the money and run. Do you know what I mean? And then we started getting remixes from Sony in Japan. We had to do a remix of something in Japanese, and we had to have a translator. But they said you can't really translate it. It was quite mad, and it came out really well because garage and two-step and that.
Well, to you it might have. It might sound rubbish.
You know, with our cubs, it probably come up with like some dodgy swear words.
But it come out alright anyway.
It came out brilliant, and they love the two-step over there, the Japanese. They really like it because it's cheeky, it's fun, you know, it's uplifting, and they like all the busy vocals and that.
So we ended up doing something else. They liked it so much, we ended up doing something else as well for them in Japanese.
They've just got a few,
So what would you say was your sort of favourite remix so far to date?
I can't even remember.
The one I like, just because it was at a wicked period of time, was probably like Woman Trouble.
Yeah, Woman Trouble was quite cool. I enjoyed doing that, all the Artful Dodger stuff.
And that All Saints one.
The All Saints one. Yeah, a lot of
Black Coffee.
on that. Yeah, that's it. people like that a lot. But I also like the very first remix that we ever done, which was Sleepless Night, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was for AM PM.
PM, yeah. I really enjoyed that.
For me, I'll have to say Messin Around.
Oh,
Sort of two-step. I mean, that really that was the grimiest thing around at that period in time.
Yeah.
That bass line really opened a lot of doors for the grimiest sort of sound to come through.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't even mention that there, but for me.
Yeah, no, we were experimenting. We were experimenting hard in the studio. We weren't just taking the money and running.
Definitely.
We was working on beat ideas, and Jim was working 24 hours a day while I was out as well.
In the shop and stuff.
And doing the shop. But Jim was working 24 hours a day. And that's why we can never get him out of it. Just working on new techniques and stuff, and then sort of we'd go through it, and then I'd bring in the sort of street influence from what was going on as well, and then Jim would teach me the techniques after he'd developed them. So it was all working real, and it still works pretty much like that.
When I do stuff on my own, it comes out very, very musical, and when Ed does stuff on his own, it comes out very, very street and heavy, and we found that everyone seems to love it when we put the two schools of thought together, and that's why we've always stuck together since then. I don't think we'd ever separate, because all the classic Wideboys stuff that everyone loves and everyone buys is exactly something equally between me and Ed. Definitely.
Brilliant. So I mean, you also had a surprise chart hit with Sambuca featuring Dennis G. And that was a surprise. No one really saw that coming. It's sort of just.
That's right. Yeah. That was crazy. We basically Dennis had a vocal that he was out PAing. Well, he was out MCing with us, and he just had this vocal that he would toast over the top of records. And Andy Lewis, who was working at Locked On at the time with Warner, he said, I really like that vocal, and you need a good vehicle for it. And literally, we came in the studio the next day and wrote Sambuca. He said, right guys, that's the one. He said, oh, by the way, do you want to be famous? And we were like, oh, okay, yeah. Next thing we know, we're doing live TV at the BBC and doing Top of the Pops and all that game as well. And in the same week, we had a top 5 with Liberty X as well, and we were at 15, and I had a house remix that I'd done that was at top 4. So in that week we had 3 things in the top 20, two top 10s in the same week. So that was quite a mad week. That was. But what that did do is it kept us out of the studio, which I didn't really me personally, I didn't like. We should have been working on the album.
Because you was on Top of the Pops pretending to play keyboards and.
It was like basically it was very time consuming, and we was having to go around, and obviously where we live down on the south coast, it's a mission in itself to get to London, and especially to do a lot of promotion where most stuff is. So it was taking time out, but it was.
That must have been a great experience.
It wasn't we
pop stars.
We just had a laugh basically, and that's what we always do. So
I mean, the Liberty X thing was that 2001.
About 2001.
That must have obviously a big highlight for you guys. You co-wrote and produced that.
Yeah,
amazing.
How did that all come about? Because
it came about. I was having an argument with the missus, and I'd had enough, and I said, right, I'm going in the studio, I'm going to go and record a guitar, and it was the first time I'd ever recorded a guitar in the studio. And on the first demo, you can actually hear my missus at the time ringing up on the screen, giving me grief. It's actually in there, you can actually hear it on the first demo. And then we initially wrote a vocal over the top of that with a guy called Tyrone, was it?
Tyrone, came down.
And then we gave that and the instrumental to Jimmy at Public Demand, who was in cahoots with the management of Liberty X at the time. They'd just come second in pop stars. They were called flop stars at the time. Which they've now managed to lose that term. They never liked it anyway. And they recorded the vocal, wrote and recorded the vocal up there, sent us the vocal down, and then we mixed our tune around it, and then and that was a hit for them. So that was really, really good.
Yeah, that launched their career, and
they've never had a bigger hit in my eyes. Really,
I mean that was probably one of the most underground type things. It sold, we sold sort of. It was about a million. It was about a million on the album.
Yeah, they did do well. They're really lovely people. They're hard-working people. The fame hasn't gone to their heads, and we consider them friends.
Which one did you fancy?
No comment.
No comment.
Sorry. Recently married, you can tell that. The winks are out already. Alright, so I mean, how do you guys approach your work in the studio? How do you share responsibilities?
basically, normally we discuss what we want to do in the first place. So we come up with an idea or a game plan. If we're working on a particular particular title or track, sometimes we'll just jam it up, won't we? But if we're working on a project that we've already concocted in our minds, then we will sit down and talk about it, discuss the idea, work out what we're trying to achieve, and all that type of stuff. And then we start getting dirty in the studio, basically.
So I mean, there's one of you more on the keys, one of you more sort of, doing a bit more production, mixing maybe.
We share it, like I say. If we're both involved in it, 50-50, then you get the classic Wideboys sound.
Yeah.
Sometimes then Ed will go away in his studio, which is exactly the same as mine, completely compatible, and he'll do a mix of it, then I'll do a mix of it separately. But the initial writing, the ideas, always together 50-50.
And sometimes as well, what we're doing is we're doing a tune, and I'll go off, go and have a bit of food or something like that, as I normally generally do.
Do a runner.
Yeah, and Jim will jam it up and come up with in a bit of his own time, and then I'll come back in, see work with it, and then Jim might go off and go and do some stuff on the computer, or sit on the dog, something like that, and I'll be having a jam, and then
just mix it up really.
Yeah.
The balance there.
Yeah.
So tell us what equipment you guys are running in a minute. It's got some nice vintage pieces around.
Yeah, we still use all the old analogue stuff when we're writing initially, because that's where all the keyboards and that are plugged into. I still use the crackly old patch bass and the outboard. We put the vocalists in the bedroom to sing.
All your crusty pants and stuff like that.
And that are in there normally. Adds to the style of the tune. And then once we're happy with all the parts, then it all goes straight up into the computer where we use automation and all the effects of it.
What's your favourite piece of kit? What do you always get your sounds out of?
Favourite piece of kit?
The Virus is pretty hot at the moment.
Yeah. The Virus is pretty good. I've always liked samplers. Samplers are amazing. They're like jeans. They come into fashion and never went out again. So to me, I tend to start off with the sampler. But yeah, just anything that works.
So I mean, you guys have been in the game for quite a while now. You've seen its ups and downs. What do you think of the scene at the minute, and who do you rate sort of production-wise coming through?
Basically, I mean, it's pretty fresh at the moment. There's been a lot of people getting involved in the scene that actually love the scene and generally love the music, which is what we do. A while ago there was a lot of people in the scene for money, and that is never really a good.
They've kind of strolled away now.
Yeah, they've sort of gone and realised that there ain't a great deal of money in it at the mo, but that's not why we're all doing it. So there's good. I mean, obviously yourselves, you've got MJ Cole, Delinquent, ripping it up at the moment, and you've got people like Domino and Arcane, Qualified.
Yeah.
I mean, Duncan Powell. There are loads of people on the scene, and there's also some wicked DJs coming through as well. That
so I think it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are a good 30 producers in the scene that can rip out some tunes, and
luckily, I mean, for a little while there, for about 6 months to 8 months, we were doing it purely for the love of it. There wasn't money involved, and therefore we were writing things that we were really our hearts were in, and so and that's what's coming through now, and it's all picking up again now. It's fantastic. I think it's in a really, really good position. We're really happy with the way the label's going, and the way everything's going, and our output, the quality of the stuff that's coming out now. It's
really pleased with it.
It's raised the bar, definitely.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys have worked with a lot of people. What's been your favourite Wideboys moment, or your funniest Wideboys moment?
Funniest Wideboys moment was catching Ed trying to climb through the sunken ceiling of the dressing rooms at top of the pops, trying to film Mystique, whose dressing room was next door.
I got busted on that one.
The other one was when Ed, had to go and do a radio show. Was it Kiss that we were doing? And then
right off a bus outside.
Right off a bus outside with a Peugeot 305.
Right off a bus.
Peugeot 306 ripped.
He ripped the whole side of a bus down, and then but the show carried on. We had a couple of gigs to do that night, and we carried on with the car on the back of an AA jug.
We had another good one was we had a wicked tour of Europe, and we did like Germany, Austria, Switzerland. And
DJing,
DJing, and it was me, Jim and Dennis, and we just did the rounds. And
wicked.
like basically,
that was really good.
Yeah, ripped it up, and it was. There were loads of things. People were like. One time we were playing in a club in Austria, some small little club. We was DJing and it was all going smart. And suddenly, just in the middle of nowhere, people like stopped, formed a circle, and started breakdancing right in the middle of it. It was like at first we thought there was going to be a big like fight club or something, but they started just ripping.
Everyone started breaking.
Which was absolutely wicked.
We love our electro. I mean, I started writing electro back in the days when it was still current. You know, that's when I started cutting my teeth in the studio. So, and we still do a lot of electro stuff now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Come back home and that gave us a couple of things to think about.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I mean, outside of the studio, what do you guys do to relax? What other interests do you have?
I get down the gym now because I have to.
That's that bloody time, son.
Walk the dog and try to chill. Really, I tend not to DJ. A lot of the DJs I know now, their ears are going, and my argument is someone in the industry's got to keep their ears fresh and stuff.
My ears are going a bit.
So I try to chill as much as possible. Do a bit of rally driving, quad biking, and stuff just to relax yourself, get your head away from the industry for 5 minutes, so that when you come back in the studio on a Monday, you're fresh for everything, really. So, and you do martial arts?
Yeah, I do.
And answers his phone all the time.
I do basically loads of kickboxing, kung fu, and tai chi. I actually teach kickboxing and kung fu as well. I've got like quite a few students and part of like a big school. Which is really good, but often end up with quite a few bruises.
Any good injuries? Any decent scars?
No real decent scars.
Must be good then.
Yeah, I've won a few tournaments.
Quality. What about football? St Mary's or Fratton Park?
We don't bother. Well,
we don't have time for footy, but I've obviously been to Fratton Park. You know, Pompey are the boys, but we're not really. You know.
We can hear it from here, so we know when they score.
Get the results straight to the studio. So I mean, what's the future hold for the Wideboys? What you got coming in the pipeline?
We've been talking to V2 recently, and we've been doing lots of electro bass. It's still got a two-step flavour, but it's very much electro, and they seem to be really jumping on that. We kind of bring a new, fresh edge to it. And they're talking about doing tours whereby we get a lot of break dancers, and so basically it's an on-stage thing.
To taking it back to Austria.
Hopefully, Babushka styling. Obviously, we're concentrating on the label as well. We've got MJ Cole on there now. We've got Luck and Knee, Norris the Boss, Delinquent, and loads of basic qualified, and loads of other people, and Dennis G. So we're concentrating hard on the output of the label. We've come in with new double packs. We're coming with our album in summer.
Wicked. Really pushing it.
Yeah, and we've like started our website as well. So we're promoting a lot of stuff through that.
What's the website, quickly?
www.garageJams.co.uk, which all our stuff goes through exclusive now before it goes anywhere else.
Wicked.
And basically, we're just working hard as we always have done, but having a great laugh at the same time.
Yeah, so definitely. In a really good position at the moment. We're well happy with everything.